you are still very active in probability, but since you started working in probability and now the field has developed enormously and it touches more and more areas. I go to colloquia at Courant and I hear how probability is playing more roles in computer science and other branches, and new type of ideas are developing. So give me some of your feeling about the subject and which way is it going, how is it developing now?
There are many changes that are taking place in probability. I think when I was growing up, in the sense that when I was 20, 30 years ago, when I was developing my interest in mathematics, the probability was more closely tied with analysis. The active areas of interest were diffusions and properties of diffusions, which is very much PDE. So my intuition in that sense developed in that context. So I'm comfortable with thinking about diffusions. I have a feeling for what they can do, and I can interpret my intuition in terms of properties of solutions of PDE, what you need to prove for PDEs in order to justify this intuition. I can go back and forth, and that's what I exploited to a large extent. But now the subject is no longer that much related to PDE, although PDE still enters, but the connection is much more on the combinatorial side. I think most of the work connected with percolation and things like that that's going on now is connections with certain combinatorial aspects of probability. And there are interesting limits which some differential equations show up, but these are very specialized equations for a specific context. I do not have the necessary intuition which I have not developed for these things. So I have not been that active in these areas. But still there are problems there which have something to do with large deviations. There are some natural large deviation questions that come up in these areas. And I'm, of course, very much interested and try to follow what goes on as much as I can.
Right. And this is the type of probability that's finding its way in computer science, combinatorial kind of.
Yeah, there's a lot of connections between them. If you look at many of the talks and so on, they all have this flavor nowadays.
But the field is quite healthy. It's developing.
The field is very healthy. I think the health of a field depends on opening up new areas and attracting new talent. I think nowadays, if you take our incoming graduate students, at least half of them want to be in probability.
Right. At least at Courant, they want to. That's absolutely true. Absolutely.
Maybe they want to go work on Wall Street afterwards. Maybe, but still.
I remember once you told me how in the beginning the probability was not respectable. So maybe you want to tell us a little bit about the beginnings of probability.
At least that story I hear. Probability developed in France. Statistics developed in England.
Right.
The Brits would have nothing to do with probability because it's related to gambling. Under Protestant ethic, it's a sin to gamble. So the British could not conceive of doing probability.
So we came a long way from that.
A long way from that.